Hey everybody, time for my post-fight breakdown, Smith versus Teixeira. Go over my picks, what I got right, what I got wrong. Obviously some shuffling around in the card. So the one pick, the Roberson-Vittori, that one did not happen because Roberson obviously an illness after making weight. But let's look at the rest of the card. Tough one to watch in the main event for me. I'll get into that in a minute. Thiago Moises, Michael Johnson. It has it down as a heel hook. That was a straight footlock where his knee ended up turning. So that had kind of the same effect as a heel hook, but it was just a straight footlock. But as you turn over to straighten it out, the knee turned, and I think that's what caused it. But it's still a straight footlock. So I've seen heel hook all over the place. Heel hook turns the foot. That was a straight footlock. Anyway, Michael Johnson was doing well right up until basically Thiago Moises did, in my opinion, what, for example, Tony Ferguson should have done. He just went, hey, screw it. I'm going for a flying footlock. Jumped right for it and got it. He managed to flip the script. He was getting beat up on the feet. He was getting outboxed. Johnson, very, very confident, was cutting off the octagon, keeping him boxed in very close to the fence. And I thought he was doing a great job with the striking. And Moises went, screw this. Takedown's not working. Got to go for something wild. And it worked. Rarely do you see a straight footlock finish in MMA. Very, very rare. This one, once again, straight footlock, but he rolled over and it ended up tweaking his knee. But great finish by Thiago Moises, and I like the way he went for broke with his jiu-jitsu game. So he gets a second-round submission. It wasn't on the card when I was making my pick, so no pick on that one. Andrei Arlovski versus Felipe Lins. Lins is a guy that I covered a lot in Bellator. He had a decent run there. Then he went to PFL, now to the UFC, and Arlovski just has enough juice to still be a gatekeeper in the heavyweight division. He can still get those rounds in. He's still accurate with his strikes. He doesn't have the speed, physicality, and power he used to at one time, but still a serviceable heavyweight, which is insane when you think of how long he's been in the game. And also, heavyweights, as they always say, power is the last thing to go. He hasn't been a power striker in a long time. He still pretty much outworks guys. He was never... I mean, he did have pretty good one-shot power in his prime, but more of a combination guy, and he's still pretty good at it. But outworked Felipe Lins. Lins not able to land the big punches with that kept him in the fight, and he couldn't sustain big punches. He would land a couple, but as far as the combinations and the ability to really rock, Andrei Arlovski wasn't there. Couldn't really keep up with the volume. So great win for Andrei Arlovski. Good to see him win again. Ricky Simón, Ray Borg. That's the first one I picked. I picked Ricky Simón. Ricky Simón won. Basically had the takedown just enough to outpoint Ray Borg. And then when Ray Borg would land, as I said, moving up from 125 to 35, you're just not going to have the sting on your shots. He wasn't a knockout puncher at 25. But I think the judges just gave more weight to Ricky Simón's punches because he's bigger and stronger. And when he would hit, it had a bit more effect on Ray Borg than Ray Borg strikes had on Ricky Simón. Even though Borg looked good, sharp, crisp combinations, he was accurate. You can see him doing some work at 135, but Ricky Simón just a little too big for him in this fight and had the takedown when he needed it. Close fight, but he gets a split decision. So 1-0 on that one. Drew Dober, Alexander Hernandez. I picked Hernandez to win. Drew Dober looked fantastic. I really thought he had Hernandez a competitive fight in the first round, but I thought Drew Dober was still the aggressor. And then, Jesus, when he unloaded on him in round 2, it was just big shot after big shot after big shot. I don't criticize the stoppage. I think it happened at the right time. Even when he was getting hurt earlier in the round, Hernandez was doing just enough to stay in it. Like, he was answering back. He was trying to move, getting takedowns. You could tell he was just hanging on by a thread. But Drew Dober, an impressive TKO in round 2. And Dober, I think that kind of dark horse at 55. He's had his ups and downs. He's lost to some so-so names. He's beaten some so-so names. But I think this might be his step up. Like, okay, let's see what you can do against a big name. I'm not hating on, for example, him versus Cowboy or Pettis, for example. A good fighter who might be not what he used to be. Let's see if he can break in and beat a solid gatekeeper. So that would be my next one for Drew Dober, but great performance. I was wrong on that one, but great performance by Drew Dober. Ben Rothwell versus OSP. I picked Rothwell to win, and he did. And a lot of people were questioning this decision, and I thought OSP won. I really did. When the judges were about to read, when he was about to read the judges' decisions, I thought OSP won this fight. Here's the deal: is that Ben would move forward and try to trap OSP. OSP would move back and then crack him when he came in with some big shots. Dropped him a couple times. The issue is OSP, I thought, and I haven't talked to any judges, what I thought was OSP really blurred the line between setup footwork and running. There were a few times he literally turned his back to Ben Rothwell and ran away and then turned and faced him. I think that hurt him with the judges, that he was literally at times running away from Ben Rothwell. Now, was he using that to set up strikes? Yes. Did he land effective strikes? Yes. Did he land the sharper punches, in my opinion? Yes. But I think the optics were really bad throughout this fight. Meaning Ben would come in trying to corral him, and he would literally just turn away and run and then turn around and strike back. So I think under those circumstances, he had to really, demolish Ben to win a decision fighting like that. It's just, now once again, I thought he won, but that must have hurt him in the eyes of the judges. Yeah, Ben did some damage against the fence. I thought OSP landed the harder punches. He did more damage, dropped him twice. Hurt him a couple times. I really thought OSP did more damage. At the end of the fight, who would you have rather been? I would have rather been OSP. But the way he fought, it almost guaranteed that unless he really, really starched Ben, he was going to lose the decision. So Big Ben wins. That's 2 in a row for him. We're seeing his limits. We've already seen them to some degree, but last night really displayed a lot of his limits at heavyweight. He's just a big plotting guy that can come in and occasionally land big punches. Tried to get in that clinch position over and over again, but footwork pretty basic. Didn't do a good job of trapping OSP. Timing wasn't great. He just lumbered forward and threw some big punches. Could he have some exciting fights? Yes. Do I like the Alexei Oleinik call out? Yes, I do. I think that could be a very interesting fight. I think Oleinik probably outstrikes him based on what I've seen. Based on his last fight where, he had good combinations against a faded Verdum, but still Verdum. I'd have to go with Alexei Oleinik preliminary on that one, but I like the call out. And Ben Rothwell can still have some exciting fights at heavyweight. There's a lot of room at heavyweight. You really got to mess up a lot to get cut at heavyweight, simply because people like seeing big guys move forward and throw punches. So Ben still has a future. But he wins. Glover, Teixeira, Anthony Smith. I got to be honest. I work with Anthony Smith a lot on SiriusXM. Really nice. One of the nicest guys in MMA. And this was a beating that I really didn't like watching, to be honest with you. First 2 rounds, he did what I thought he was going to do for 5 rounds. He was sharper. He was quicker. He was controlling range. Nice sharp jab. Good clean right hands. But the quicker, younger, faster, more accurate guy. And for 2 rounds, that's what he was. And then in round 3, when I broke this down earlier, I said Glover has a really strong left hand, and he has really great top pressure. If Anthony Smith can avoid those 2 things, he wins the fight. What happened? That left uppercut, boom, hits him right around the eye. I think he fractured an orbital. After that, it was target practice for Glover Teixeira. Beat him up on the feet. And when he took him down, once again, that top pressure, guys like, my grappling instructor who gave me my black belt, Heijiogo, is old school. He came up with Vitor Belfort and Alan Goes and Ricardo Laborio and all those old school Carlson guys. And one thing he preaches to me is top pressure, top pressure, top pressure. When you get on somebody, those old school guys, they don't let you go. They don't switch and move and try all this crazy stuff and switch sides and berimbolo guard and all this. They don't do any of that stuff. When they get on you, it's just like a steamroller going over you. And that is Glover Teixeira's style. It's an old school grappling style. And once they're on top of you, you're never getting them off. And that's what happened. As soon as he hurt Anthony Smith, he was on him like white on rice, never gave him any space, and beat the piss out of him. Should this fight have been stopped? Yes. I thought midway through round 4, I was like, this it's over. It's over. There's no coming back. At the end of round 3, okay, he took a big shot, he took some damage, maybe he gets back in it. I think midway through round 4, this fight was over. I didn't see sending him out for round 5. I really love his coaches. I love James Krause, Mark Montoya, Factory X, great coaching, but he was getting really beat up. I would not have sent him out there for round 5. And I know a lot of people in the comment section, the fighters are warriors, they always want to continue. Yeah, they always want to continue. That's why the corners have to step in and kind of be the grown-ups in that situation and go, hey, look, you'll fight another day. Because I really believe Anthony Smith took one of those beatings that stays with you for a long time. Not only was this a big step back, he lost to a 40-year-old guy who was supposed to launch him a little bit higher up in a division where he's got to work hard to stay at the top. John Jones is taking everybody out. Dominic Reyes is up there near the top. Thiago Santos, close decision there. So Anthony Smith was kind of the odd man out a little bit. In that John Jones, I thought, clearly beat him. So he had to work hard to stay there, and losing to Glover Teixeira in the way he did is a gigantic step back, but also the physical beating. This was a mauling. This is going to take a long time for him to recover from, and then is he ever the same guy again? So I wouldn't have sent him out there for that 5th round. I know it's easy to say sit in front of my television and everything, but I've been in those situations before, cornering, and that's what I would have done. But so I understand the corner criticisms, I really do, and I love his cornermen. They're great guys, great coaches. But I thought in this instance he took a beating he much longer than he had to take. But unfortunately, because I really, really like him, big step backward for Anthony Smith. I hope he heals up well. But for my picks, 2-2 on the night. Entertaining card, but an unfortunate finish. But hats off to Glover Teixeira, man. The old guy had one great fight left in him. Let's see what he has left, because beating a contender like Anthony Smith, I think it does great things for him. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys every time.